The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Hey, welcome back everybody to Doing It with Stiles this week. Got a very special guest. This should be a lot of fun today. I'd like to welcome Tami Belt, like the drink, you know, take a belt. And she is the owner of Blue Cube Marketing Solutions. That's been around since 2002. Tami's going to tell us a little bit about marketing solutions for your business and maybe some other stuff. Tami, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, Blue Cube Marketing Solutions. What is Blue Cube Marketing Solutions?
It's a public relations firm.
Okay.
I love telling stories for a living. Everybody has a story that someone in the world needs to hear, and I help companies and nonprofits excavate, craft, and share their stories to spark conversations, build relationships, and help shape their brands.
Cool.
Yeah.
And when you say tell stories, like I agree. Everybody has a story. Every business has a story.
Yes.
And how do you get that story from the clients to from your clients or the business to their clients?
You talk to them.
Okay.
There are a treasure trove of stories hidden inside all organizations. It's not just the story of what the company does. That's surface stuff.
Right.
It's the founders' bios. And when I say bio, I don't mean a regurgitation of their resume. I mean all the delicious collisions, the serendipitous collisions of people, places, and passions, how they got to be where they are, all the detours and everything, why they do what they do, the way that they do it. Their employees, their volunteers, their donors, they're all part of the story. Why do they like working there? What's their best story about helping the clients? And of course, customers and testimonials, but not just, oh, I recommend you. There's stories, there's how they made them feel.
Do you find it difficult drawing it out of the, and I mean, do you basically, let's take a step back, okay? So let's say I were to contact you and say, hey, Tami, somebody told me about you, or you know, I looked you up in the white page or the yellow pages or on the internet or on Google or whatever, and I think that I might want to use your services. So where do you go from there?
Well, we'd sit down and talk to see what their goal is.
Okay.
Because communicating without a plan is risky business.
So I want more business.
Yeah, you want more. Okay, well.
I mean, isn't that what what a company normally is going to tell you? I want to get more business. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, public relations is relationship building. It's not direct sales.
Right.
So it's relationship building. There's not going to be an immediate ROI. You know, you don't walk up to someone and say,
What is an
marry
ROI?
me? Return on investment.
Thank you.
Yeah, return on investment. So everybody's looking for the hack. How do I get it now? How do I do it now? How do I, show me the ROI? Well, it's a relationship. What's the ROI of your pet? Of your siblings, of your parents, of your significant other, your friends? You can't put a price on it. It is not a line item on a balance sheet, and everybody tries to monetize it, and it's not. It's a relationship of trust built over time. It's, why are you friends with your friends? Why aren't you friends with some of your family anymore?
Aren't different businesses going to have different timelines for return on the investment? In other words, if I'm a plumber,
Yes.
okay, the important thing, this is my own perspective, I don't know whether it's true or not. The important thing for me would be name recognition.
Yes.
I want people to remember my name, because the only time they're going to contact me is if they have a plumbing problem.
Right.
As opposed to a pizza place.
When they're hungry.
Right. That's going to happen. People are going to eat pizza a lot more than they're going to have their plumbing fixed.
Hopefully.
Excuse me. Or yeah. I like that.
Or the pizza could cause hopefully
Yeah,
the pizza
there
doesn't
you
cause
go.
the plumbing
Yeah,
problem.
So maybe plumbing companies ought to advertise in pizza joints, sir.
Well,
No, I'm-
what I do isn't advertising, it's a complement to
Right.
advertising. So I work with ad agencies
And I'm glad
a
that
lot.
you made that clarification,
Yeah.
that there is a difference between marketing and advertising.
Yeah, between
Okay.
public relations and advertising, it all falls under the marketing umbrella.
Right.
As does sales, but they're different disciplines, but they complement each other.
Right.
So you can, as long as it's legal, you can say anything you want in an ad and you pay for that space. Now, public relations is a strategic crafting of your.
Wait. Can we back up again?
Back up to the plumber.
No. I want to back up to you can say anything you want in an ad as long as it's legal.
To a point, yeah.
And does.
For the most part.
And the reason I'm asking that doesn't necessarily mean that the ad is true.
True.
It just means that whatever it is they're saying in that ad, they are not breaking the law.
Right, there's certain, there are certain things that they have to follow and certain,
Right.
rules and regulations that they have to follow, and depending on industries.
Depending on the media.
And depending on the media and depending on the industries.
Gotcha.
Certain industries have more regulation over what they can and cannot say, legal, financial, those
Gotcha.
types of things. But you can say what you want in an ad. Now, public relations, a lot of the stuff people don't realize, a lot of the stuff that you read in a newspaper or a magazine the story was started, it was pitched by a public relations company.
Okay.
It's not always something that's sought out by the journalist. If companies or nonprofits have something truly newsworthy going on, and they have a PR person that knows who to contact, you don't blanket it out. Oh, please don't blanket it out. You don't blanket it out. That knows how to craft a pitch, take the newsworthy part of the story and pitch it, and they'll pick it up.
A perfect example of that might be the Sunday newspaper real estate section.
Well, that's an advertising section.
I understand,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that they're doing these, some PR or advertising firm has gotten a hold of the paper, and basically they are paying to have
Yes.
their recent development have an
Featured.
article featured.
Have it featured, yes.
Right.
They select the people that they feature based on the ads that the builder sells. And
Right.
ironically, my very first job out of college was working for a very small boutique firm that handled home builders. So I would go and walk through the houses and then write them up for the Sunday real estate section.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was,
Was that fun?
it was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you find is your favorite thing about what you do?
Oh my gosh, the people that I meet.
Yeah?
Companies come and go, but when you build a relationship with a client, it sticks. I did Ride for Kids for 10 years. I did the PR for them. And the people that I met are still friends today. And one of them even read one of my poems at their wedding
Oh,
just
wow.
last year. Yeah, it's amazing. So, I help clients build relationships with their employees, with the community, with their customers, but sometimes, and you're not friends with every client, and it's
Right.
not appropriate.
Right.
But there are times when friendships develop, and it extends long beyond the business relationship.
And I like what you said about with their employees
Yes,
and communication and developing relationships with their employees.
yes,
Because I have worked for both types of companies where you came to work and you felt like you were part of a family and you wanted to do a good job.
yes,
And I've worked for companies that I'm just here to get my check and I'm getting the hell out of here on Friday afternoon. So how do you turn one into the other? How do you turn a company like that into a family?
it's communication. And
Okay.
internal communication is the most important. And it starts with, you have to know, to first of all, not to work for a company where you don't feel appreciated.
Right.
So you have to know what you want to do and what you're willing to put up with and what your goals are. Then once you work at a company, I spent 7 years at St. Rose Dominican Hospital. I handled everything. I ended up being a one-person department for the last few years. And I would do internal communication, so I did 4 newsletters for the employees, for the volunteers, for the board members, and for the physicians. So it starts inside. Let every person know that even the departments that work in silos, And departments anywhere, whether it be a hospital or whatever,
Right.
they're their own tribe.
Right.
Okay, but they need to communicate and cross-pollinate, and they need to know each one's part in that school play and the part that each one plays in the big picture.
Right. And there are companies that promote that
Yes.
will do events to help promote that communication between. And I've done a number where if I work with you, I can't be on your team.
Yeah.
I have to be on a team with someone from other departments, and
Yes.
that's team building, and that's
you get
part
to
of the
know
communication,
them.
right?
And not just them as people, but the responsibilities and the confines in which they have to operate.
Right.
You know, the rules and regulations. They think that this department thinks that this department's a pain in the and they're not. And they're not trying to be hard to work with, but these are the rules and regulations, whether that they have to deal with. And once you know that, knowledge is power, and
Right.
knowledge empowers. And part of the internal communications and the building relationships is where the community engagement comes in. And that was one of the things that I handled in corporate America, but I saw done wrong. And so I encourage companies to get involved in the community, there's so many benefits.
Right.
And you don't have to have a lot of money like me. I just did in-kind services to select charities. I work for a living, not for charities.
Yeah.
But I would do in-kind public relations for certain charities.
And we do some of that here as well. So
And it increases employee retention and satisfaction because everybody wants to feel part of something bigger, and especially with millennials and people today, they want to help. They just need to know how.
Right.
It decreases employee turnover because you're working for a place that cares about their vision and values, and it builds relationships with the community. People switch brands to support a company that backs a cause. Now, it has to be authentic. You can't just say, oh, we support this, come support it. No.
Right.
It has to really be authentic, and it has to make sense and be a fit business-wise. But it's a win-win-win for everyone.
well, and it one of my sayings, my personal sayings, is I like doing business with people I like doing business with.
Yes.
And because it does you're doing something that you have to do.
Yep.
Because you're a business and you have to do this, this, and this. And so why not do it with a company or individuals that you enjoy the interaction with?
Absolutely.
And a company with good customer service. Perfect example is our streaming company, the company that actually does the streaming service for us and gets our signal out there. Their customer service department is phenomenal. It's one of those where, oh, good, I get to call customer service.
Instead of, oh, no.
Yeah, it's like, but they are, I have spent some time back almost 3 hours on the phone with customer service trying to fix a problem that I had.
Yeah.
And they were right there with me every step of the way, and it was like, when I got done, it was like I had to write, they didn't write letters, but I sent emails to all of the department heads that this individual worked for, because they were not going to let me off the phone until they had my problem solved. And I recommend that streaming service to everybody that needs that kind of service.
That's good to know.
And so that one individual has probably been responsible for a lot of business for that company.
Mm-hmm.
And as an employer, I don't think people realize that as much.
They don't.
They think that their employees are out to screw them, or their partners out to screw them, or their owners are out to screw them, or whatever. And it's like, excuse me, if they would just think that every interaction that every employee has, whether, and I'm in the construction business.
Oh, yeah.
So whether the client is a homeowner or a commercial building or a property manager or whatever, that person has to feel like you're there to take care of whatever it is that you're going to take care of for them, and they don't have to worry about anything.
That's relationship building.
That's exactly what it is, and that's so.
Marketing.
And that's one of the reasons I was glad that you agreed to be on the
Yes.
show, is because to me that's important, and to see that you're out there doing that, It's
Helping
like, yeah,
company-
finally somebody's out there doing that.
Helping companies do that. Marketing is not a department. I know. I've been the marketing department in companies. Believe me, I have been the sole marketing department, and it was not up to me. The volunteers,
Yeah.
the first point of contact, everybody markets you. Everybody. Your housekeepers, your IT people. It's everybody markets
Receptionists.
you.
The people who answer the phone.
That's the
first front line. Yeah.
line. And you get their stories. You get why they do what they do, how they help. That's word of mouth. That is the best form of advertising or PR or whatever, is word of mouth.
Right.
And that's it.
And when it
That's it.
comes to problem solving too, most of those people, if they know what's wrong or if they know something's wrong, they know how to fix it.
Oh, they know.
And if you have the communication with your employees on a positive note, you won't have those problems because they will take care of it
Yes.
before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Rather than, well, it's not my job. That's screw the owner. I don't care. That's let them deal with it. So to me, that's a critical part of a business.
Yes.
Is that relationship with your employees.
Yeah, it all starts with
Right.
internal communications. They have to know what you're doing out in the community, what's going on inside the company. I've worked with clients that they tested a couple different radio spots and asked, because their employees were closer in age to the demo,
Right. The demographic. Yeah. Right.
to the demographic than the owner was, and they were trying to reach a younger crowd, and so they tested a couple different commercials and they let them decide. Let them take ownership.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to community engagement, it has to be a fit for the business, and it has to make sense.
Right.
But get input. You can't make somebody care about a cause. There's a lot of good causes out there. And the reason why community engagement is such a good strategy for public relations and marketing to build relationships is it's personal. And to connect over the passion for a cause.
And that's it. That's the key word, is
It
passion.
trumps. It's a passion. It's personal.
Right.
And business is personal. That's why it's about relationships. It's about connecting. There's a lot of PR firms. There's a lot of good PR firms. There is a lot of construction companies. There's a
Yep.
lot of good construction companies. There's a lot of good charities. Why you pick the ones you do? One employee. There's how many streaming companies? Oh my goodness.
Tons of them.
Tons of them.
Right.
And one employee, and that person made a difference, and that's the testimonial. That's the word of mouth.
That's exactly
and
right.
that's why you capture those testimonials. You help give people something to talk about. You are obviously very good at communications and conversations.
Well, thank you.
But, well, you are. But not everybody is. So
I'm Irish.
I'm a wee bit.
Me too.
A wee bit.
A wee bit.
Just enough for
Yeah.
coffee and Baileys on Sunday morning. With jazz, yes.
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
You hear that, Rick?
Oh man, that goes.
So I'm sorry, I didn't
back.
mean to get you sidetracked, but
No, that's okay. Seriously, that's it, and that's the testimonials, and that going back to the plumber and the pizza place.
Right.
Because any service, any whatever, it's a commodity, and the difference is personal. So you grab those stories that people are going to connect to.
right. Well, and what we do here is a service.
Yes.
We don't have widgets that people are buying. We're selling a service. So the more that people like us and trust us,
Trust.
the better, and that's it, the better our service is going to be, and the harder we're going to try to, because all of the show hosts here are like family to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've been with us pretty much since the beginning, most of them. Some of them are newer, and some have fallen by the wayside. But it's a relationship,
Yes.
right, that we have built. It's mutual respect. They know that we're going to take care of them, and we know they're going to take care of us. And that's basically what you are doing, because there are maybe 1 in 100 businesses that realize that.
They're fewer and far between.
Yeah.
They want to hack everything, and I keep saying you can't hack a relationship. You don't walk up to someone and say, "Will you marry me?"
Right.
You don't. The second, "Oh, well, when's this story?"
I tried
gonna
that,
run?"
but I got a lot
Yeah.
of restraining orders, yeah.
Yeah, somebody tried it with me once. I think they'd had some cocktails, and I was just like, "No, thank you." She's like, "Can I know you?"
So, okay, so let's take Las Vegas as
Mm-hmm.
an example. I don't know, how long have you been in Las Vegas?
Born and raised.
Oh, okay, so then you understand,
Oh.
where when you came to Las Vegas, no matter where you went, you felt like they were happy to see you and wanted you here, and you were important. You get comped, you go here,
Yep.
Now, the corporations have taken over, and it's, like you say, they've chopped everything up, and everything is about the dollar.
Yeah,
They
you
want
have
to
to spend
separate
this much.
you, right, they want to separate you from your money and then get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
And that's where, and I mean, the gambling, of course, brings people here and the shows and all that, but there is a it's a transactional
Yes.
business anymore, and it's not about that personal. I
It's not
mean, the
relationships.
pit bosses knew everybody that came
Oh.
in, the dealers
They
knew
knew them
people,
by
and
name.
the
They knew their families.
right, and so that's what is, I think, for a business, is the most valuable commodity to have, is if you realize that.
Yes.
So,
And the small businesses that I work with, the ones that I love the most are the mom and pop. They're not part of franchises. I mean, I handled 7-Eleven for several years, which it was great,
right,
but I love working with family-owned, local family-owned businesses because they get it. They treat their employees like they should be treated,
right,
and they treat their customers like they should be treated, and they treat their PR person like they should be treated instead of calling them at all hours going,
Right.
"Hey, I got a story for you."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't. Let me know what's going on, and I will find the stories.
Right.
I know your strategic plan. I know your objectives. Let me show you how through communications, and you're not going to get a story in the newspaper every week. You're not.
right,
You're not, unless you're a hotel and you spend a lot of bucks in the advertising.
right,
But that's not the point. The point is you have to have enough media out there in enough mediums that people are going to reach them. Not everybody reads the newspaper anymore. Not everybody watches the news. Now, you're still going to try to get something on there, and public relations is so much more than just a press release. People think it's a press release, and a press release is one tool, and it's a tool that we're using less and less because of traditional media. There's videos, there's shows,
right.
there's blogs, there's social media. Oh my goodness, when I went to college, there wasn't any of this.
And I was going to ask you, so you've been doing this for 16 years.
Well,
How
30 years
has-
doing PR.
30 years doing PR. So how has
Oh.
the focus of your business or what you do changed? I mean, how much has it changed?
Well, social media changes it because there's a lot more places and ways to tell a story. Facebook is the mashup of social media. LinkedIn is strictly business. It's like the new water cooler. Twitter is like the soundbite of social media. YouTube, it's entertainment, it's information, it's education. And that's where, and you can repurpose, the stories that you have, and you make the message fit the medium, and you just repurpose them to fit the medium. You have blogs, you have your website. Social media is going to be going through transitions. They're trying to control things. They control who sees what.
Right.
Just because, and just because you post something and somebody responds does not mean that you engaged. And finally, thank God, they're telling people it's not about getting likes. Don't beg for likes. Don't beg for shares.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You have to have a call to action.
Well, and it's not just a call to action, but it's a reason to engage and come back and look for more. It's to whet their appetite. You don't give them everything. Oh, don't
That's
make
it.
something look like a used car ad.
Right.
You want to whet their appetite and get them to actually meet you and call for a meeting, get to know that we knew each other for years just on social media.
Yeah.
But as soon as I walked through the door, you knew who I was.
Right. Yeah, and that's amazing that I have a lot of friends on Facebook.
that you've never met.
Right. But we still have conversations. We
Yes.
still have, and you know, I see that things that they're doing, and a couple of them have been, oh, hey, there's somebody on my Facebook page, and I think they do that kind of business. I'm going to call them. You know, so, and because we have already developed a relationship,
yes.
right? And so, I mean, that's basically the first place I look. Who do I know? And because the big thing now is networking groups. There's 833,269 and a half networking groups.
0.4.
Yeah, in this zip code alone. But and I used to go to a lot of them, and I stopped going because I found that when I go to a networking event, I may not want what you're selling, but I may know someone who does.
Yes.
And so the attitude that I've run across in all these networking groups, and not all of them, there are some that are good, and I'm not trying to put them down or say don't go there because it could be valuable. You never know. But it's like, well, I'm just here to sell my stuff, and if you don't want to buy it, then
Yeah. Hi, what can I sell you?
yeah, that's exactly
Oh.
right. And it's, hey, what do you do? Okay, fine. Oh, wow. Oh, you know what? I know somebody that's looking for that. Or you've got that, or you got your business cards, or you've got that in the back of your mind.
It's
and
relationships.
That's
your
exactly right.
network is your net worth. And if they think of you as somebody to ask for referrals from, they'll think of you when somebody needs a referral.
Exactly.
Not everybody needs public relations, but
There's-
they
there's-
know people.
Right, there's
who
a
need it.
commercial on television, and I think, I mean, this isn't the point of the commercial, but it is a good example of, you know, hey, I'm building a bar. Do you know anybody? And the guy says, oh, yes, I do, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's, to me,
That's
that's
it.
networking. I mean, the guy is saying, oh, okay, well, take care of it for me. But, I mean,
Oh,
that-
yeah, when you go and do this, and
Right,
this,
right,
and
right, do this
yeah.
and, you know, have them come in next time. But no, it's like, okay, you have just sparked something. Oh, yes, I know somebody who does this and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I will, oh, great example.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and I have met her face to face. We used to work together, and she's over in the UK now. So, she's has been working for an interior designer, and she's kind of changing careers and going into, she's doing some interviews and writing some articles for magazines and stuff like that. And she put on her Facebook, hey, I'm looking for a microphone or some type of recording device for doing interviews. So we had a guy in here a couple months ago that actually has a microphone that is basically it's like a stick mic, just like you would see in the news and everything, but it's also a recorder, and it's
Nice.
self-contained. And so I thought, oh, hey, I know somebody, and so I just sent him a text message, hey, what's the model of your deal? Blah, blah, blah. Sent that over to Alicia, and she's going, wow, that's great, that's just what I'm looking for.
Yep.
So, you know, those are the kind of, that's networking, and
That's
that is building relationships, and that's,
That's true networking. That's
Right.
true. Yeah, it's not, see, it's not, everything isn't
right.
direct
And I don't have a
sales.
microphone to sell her,
No.
and he
no.
didn't have a microphone to sell her.
And it's not that you get anything. I
That's
mean,
exactly right.
Oh, referral fees. When the first thing that they do
God,
is
yes.
go, hi, this is what I do. If you know anybody, I do referral fees. I am like,
Yep.
back. It's like, I'm not going to track that stuff. And you know what? My company was built on referrals.
Right.
From people that own PR firms. Either the client wasn't the right fit, too small probably, because my agency
Right.
is small. It was too small for them. It wasn't the right fit. It wasn't the right industry.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, we help each other. When I started, they're like, okay, what do you want to do? Who are you targeting? Literally, the other agency owners would do that.
Yeah.
And we help each other. You know, we're colleagues. We're not competition.
But see, that I like that, and I agree with that, and I also say that competition is good.
Yeah.
Because if there's nobody else that does what you do, you are not constantly striving to do it better.
Well, nobody can handle everything. Everybody's like, I can put you on the front page of Google. No, first of all, no, you can't. I'm sorry. I am tech challenged, but there's things that I know. And you know what? If you were on the front page of Google, if I was on the front page of Google, I couldn't handle it. I don't
Yeah.
have employees. I don't want employees.
But wait. If somebody types in my WWDB TV, guess who the first one comes up as? We are.
Well, are you the only one? No.
We're the only WWDBTV.com.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they may, if they type in internet TV or, internet radio or something
Yeah.
like that, we may not be the first ones in this area, but we're damn close. So,
Yeah, but if you're a service industry,
right,
I mean,
plumber.
oh,
Type in plumber.
how many? I mean, how many plumbers can he have? How many plumbers can he oversee?
Right.
I just like other PR agencies or advertising agencies will contract with me if they have overflow or something. If I need something, and I do PR, I don't do photography. I don't do design. I write websites. I don't build them. I don't design them. You
Right.
need a builder, a designer,
Yeah.
and a writer. You don't want me building it, and you don't want the builder or the programmer to write it.
Right.
You need 3 people, and they think that you can do that, and they think that I can just take my phone or my camera and shoot the headshots. It's like, no.
I know.
And you don't want me laying out the newsletters like I taught myself how to do it the hospital years ago,
Right.
when I learned PageMaker on my Mac Plus. On my Mac Plus, yes. I
Yeah.
did.
You were hot stuff if you knew PageMaker back
Oh
then.
boy,
Yeah.
I thought I was something, and I'd look at magazines at designs, and then I try to make it happen, and it was I'm horrible.
Okay, so
love
speaking
artists.
of that and talking about being number 1 on Google and all that crap, what about these companies like Angie's List
Mhm.
for handymen or stuff like that, or contractors? I always
Yelp.
kind of suspect that. It's like, what are you using for a basis to recommend these 3 plumbers or carpenters or air conditioning companies?
Yeah.
Where is your money coming from?
Yes.
Where is the money coming from to do this? That's
The thought behind it is good, and it is. It's word of mouth because people move around a lot, and
Right.
especially in Vegas, everybody's from somewhere else except for us natives.
Yeah.
Woohoo! But you don't know, and people can. There's certain people that will never be happy with anything or anybody,
Right.
and they just post bad reviews. For if something bad happens, yeah, the company wants to know about it so it can take it offline
Right.
and fix it. You're not going to fix it screaming at each other online. And it's nobody, except the person who wants to scream, wants to be in a screaming match online. Things go wrong. Bad things happen to good companies, and mistakes can be made, or something that's not even their fault. Maybe the product that they were using was faulty,
Right.
and they'll replace it, and it's just like boom, they'll take care of it. So
And that's
those are
how
the
I
best.
judge a business.
Yeah,
is
how they-
if they screw up, look, everybody screws up. Everybody makes a mistake. But what do they do to correct it?
And how did they handle that?
Right. How did they handle that?
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fails. It's how you get back up.
Right.
In businesses, that's how it is.
Cool.
You know.
So I wanna ask you about you wrote a little book here called Poetic Justice.
I did.
And is this a book of poems? What is this about?
I started writing poems when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, like every 12-year-old, I didn't think that anybody could hear me or understand me. Nobody was going through what I was going through. Well,
Yeah.
And 12-year-old boys feel that way too. They
Sure.
just don't show it. So literally, I started writing these. I didn't write the poems; they wrote me, and I didn't read poetry. I thought it was sissy. I was a tomboy. I grew up playing golf, playing barefoot, out driving the boys. It just, I wanted to play football, and I was climbing mountains. Yeah. So I thought poems were sissy. So when these poems started coming out of me, I was like, okay. But they would literally, I couldn't write them fast enough.
Yeah.
And I'd put them away. I felt better because everybody needs to feel seen, heard, and understood.
Yep.
And again, so it was the 360 to my storytelling career because I understand the importance of being seen, heard, and understood. And years later, when I would reread them from a different perspective, because you know more, you see more. I wasn't reading them with a teenager's eyes or a 20-year-old's eyes or a 30-year-old's eyes or a 40-year-old's eyes. You can see. And the perspectives change in your mind. See, the most important story is the one you believe.
Right.
But the thing is, we tell ourselves stories about stories.
Explain that.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's how you frame the story.
Okay.
Okay? There's the facts. There's
Right.
what happened. There's what I think happened, which is, that's the truth.
Right.
Okay? There's what you think happened, all those conspiracy theories.
Right.
Okay? And then there's what we think about what happens. Okay?
Okay.
They're horrible, or or whatever we think about what happened. And then.
So you mean Facebook?
Yeah. How we choose to remember it. Was it a blessing, a curse, a lesson? How do you remember it? That literally frames how you move through your life. Is everybody out to get you? Did they really mean to break your heart and stomp on it and crush it and just, like how they made you feel at that moment? Or were they just
Being human.
being human, picked the
Yeah.
wrong person, they were scared, they didn't, not ready, wrong time?
Right.
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I get it.
Relationships are messy, and that's why they're so delicious. So, yeah, it's the stories that we tell ourselves, and that's the most important story, is the one that we tell ourselves. And once we're able to feel seen, heard, and understood, and we can step back from the emotional connection, then we're able to unravel the stories about the stories and see the truth. And then it's like, oh, well, of course,
Yeah.
eh.
So are you still writing? You still writing poetry?
No,
No?
it stopped coming.
Really?
Yeah, when I was about-
When was the last time? What is the most recent poem in this book?
Oh my gosh. And it was because somebody said, "Oh, you write poems, write me one." And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I
'Cause I
I
don't-
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, see.
That's not how it works.
It's not. And I never really wrote poems for other people. For a couple people that like maybe got married or something, and I
Right.
as a gift.
Yeah, but it's
it was
something that came
so
from you.
hard.
It wasn't
was
something that
so
they
hard.
said, oh, hey, oh, you're a comedian? Tell me a joke.
Yeah,
Yeah, you like that, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No,
so-
it doesn't just like, oh,
Right.
no, it really, it doesn't. And when it stopped, I didn't care that it stopped because I had other ways of being heard and understood. So, yeah, it was for someone, and then, yeah, there was a breakup, and then I was pissed. And I was pissed that they made me go to that place and write again. So I wrote kind of a, I hope you're happy, kind of.
Screw
But-
you, I hope you fall under a bus.
Well, no, it wasn't that mean.
No.
But it was
Not
like
a Sam Kinison poem?
No. No, they're really not that bad.
No, I'm just kidding.
They're really not. They're very simple. But over the years, when friends started going through different things, I'm like, oh, here, read this, and they're like, that's it. And that's why I published the book, so people knew that they're not alone.
So your poems are actually stories.
Yeah, but just like songs.
Yeah.
Just like music.
That was, yeah.
Just like music, songs
Well,
inspired so many poems.
Songs
oh, Rush.
are poems.
They
Or
are.
poems are songs.
Yeah.
Bob
They're
Dylan.
stories. Oh, and
Of course,
Billy
everything
Joel.
he says rhymes, but,
Well,
yeah.
and my poems are like that. And
I was going to ask you if
and
you
that's
write
just
Bob
how-
Dylan type poems.
That's
yeah.
just how they came out. I
Right.
mean, and that's why for so long I was just like, oh God, these are too simple. They're too, I never thought that I would publish the poems. That was never my intention. It was literally, it was my diary. It was my therapy.
Right.
It was my therapy. And then I realized the importance of being seen, heard, and understood, and getting it out so you can reflect and do that. And that's why I wrote it. And on the back of it, I said, it doesn't matter what medium, whether it's dance or music or poetry or working out, it doesn't matter. Express yourself, get it out, because you need to feel seen, heard, and understood. And that's storytelling.
Do you think that and I'm not even sure how to frame this question. I think all of us have some creativity
Yes.
inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us can get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us can't.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think because of that creates problems for us?
Yes.
So what advice would you give someone that maybe, I have some jealousy because my ex-wife and my sons are both very good artists. I mean, they can draw things and paint and I can't draw a straight line with a T-square.
I can draw my name.
And yeah,
That's
and it you know, it used to irritate the hell out of me because it was like, well, God, they make it look so easy, and I can't do that. But I have other forms of
Yes.
releasing my creativity.
Yes.
And a lot of it is has to do with audio and visual, and that's one of the reasons that I got into videos. Is I used to do a lot of photography. That was kind of my outlet,
Yes.
and I took that, or I thought that I took that as far as I could take it with the stills. And that's when I got my first video camera and said, okay, I want to take this to the next level and start doing with this. And then, oh my God, look what happened. But it's because I used to do these, I would see a picture.
Yes.
And that picture would pop a song into my head. And so then I would have to sit down and take that song and all of the pictures that related to that song and put them into like a slideshow.
Right.
You know, with some pictures with some music behind it. And that's what kind of started me towards the
It's your
videotaping.
lens.
Yeah, that was my lens.
Your lens on the world and
Right.
your perspective and your.
In fact, I have one that I'll send to you.
Oh, yes.
That I think you'll get right away. So anyway, so okay, so there's a lot of stuff that we could continue talking about, but what I really want to talk about is how did you get started in all this? What was it that sent you down this path?
Oh, of telling the stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and just, I mean, I do know you a little bit. I think that what you're doing in the marketing solutions and all of that is an outlet for your storytelling.
It is.
It's a way to take advantage of that and help get that out.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what you're doing, is telling stories about businesses, right?
Mm-hmm. And nonprofits.
And not,
And
yeah, but when I
nonprofits.
say business,
Yeah.
I'm, you know, yes, I don't want to slight any of the nonprofits.
No.
We're big
Big supporters
proponents.
of nonprofits.
Right. In fact, we're working with one called Heroes for Autism,
Oh, nice.
which is an absolutely phenomenal organization. I love those guys. They're terrific. So, anyway, so.
Yeah. Probably. See, I was gonna be a psychologist when I went to college.
That's what I majored in college.
Yeah, I was going to be a psychologist, and then I was told that it's a lot of burnout, and if you
And you don't make any money out of
and
it.
you don't make any money unless you go on to psychiatry, and I
Right.
didn't want to go to med school because
Yeah.
that involved math.
Yeah.
Numbers bad, words are good.
Yeah.
I love
like that.
I love people that do numbers because then I don't have to.
That's right.
And I love the tech guys, so I don't have to.
Yep.
And so then I wanted to go into social work because I wanted to help people.
Right.
And again, it was like no pay, burnout, the whole whatever. And I liked the creativity, and so then it was like, oh, communications, advertising. So I fell into it.
Right.
I first started writing even before the poems, though. My sister had me read ghost stories.
Oh, cool.
Oh, no. No, I'm the baby of 3.
Oh, okay.
She was mean.
And she would make you read them.
Yes, Boris Karloff ghost stories.
Ooh.
And my imagination was so vivid
Yeah.
that I would have horrible nightmares. The stories became real
Oh.
in my mind. And the stories became real. So I got tired of the nightmares. I got tired of not getting it out of my head. Because you can't shut off your creativity.
Yeah,
the voices in your head just
Yeah.
keep going. And I was getting tired of saying, you're just a scaredy cat. So I got up in the middle of the night, and I don't even know how I knew to do this because I was in elementary school. And I sat down and pretended that I was in front of a campfire. I'd never been in front of a campfire, but I knew that telling stories in front of a campfire was a
Right,
thing.
yeah.
So, and I retold the story, and again, I have no idea how I knew how to do this. I changed the ending so I didn't die, and that began my writing career.
Wow, cool.
So I started writing ghost stories, and then that turned into poetry as therapy, and then it turned into telling stories of companies and whatever. So
That's awesome.
that's my story.
Yeah. And you're sticking to it,
I'm
right?
sticking to it.
So what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to look into the camera, and I'd like you to tell everybody out there, what is the one thing that you want people to know about you?
Oh my gosh, the one thing.
Doesn't have to be one. It could be 2 or 3, but, you know, don't go all day.
Don't why? You know, some catered
Well,
food
you have to leave them wanting more.
Well, I've been telling other people's stories for 30 years. I've had my own company since 2002, but I've been doing PR for 30 years. And now I'm at a point where I'm still doing the PR and the storytelling, but I want to help people learn how to do it themselves. So I'm branching out my services into public speaking, and also I can do trainings. I can come into your organization and show you where to look for the stories and what questions to ask and how to tell those stories and where to tell them. I don't have to do it for you. If you've got in-house people, I know what it's like to be the in-house person because I've been there. So I can help you do that. And then, you know, if you continue to have questions and need help, I'm available for follow-up on that too. But coming from somebody who's done it, and I also want to go into shelters to help women who have been in bad relationships, how to help them rewrite their story, because that's what I did. I rewrote my story. You know, so you're not the victim, it's how you frame it. And I have friends who fell victim to their stories and it didn't have such good endings. But I was able to. And so that's kind of what's next for me. Is
Cool.
to help them do that.
Okay. And there are a lot of organizations in
Yes.
town that I'm sure are going to want to take advantage of that. And I'll hook you up with a couple of, I've got some names of people that we deal with as well.
Thank you.
So I think we're going to wrap it up here because I don't have any more questions. So if you got anything else that you'd like to add, you most certainly can. This is your chance because once we cut this off, then you're done.
I'm done?
You're done.
You're
Just for the moment, yeah, for this show. So.
If you're interested in my book, you can buy it on Amazon. Search for my name, or Balboa Press. It was Hay House, Louise Hay's publishing company. They're the ones who published it, so you can get it on Balboa Press also. So
Cool.
that's it.
Well, Tami, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So this is Tami Belt, and that's Blue Cube Marketing Solutions
Yes.
PR firm,
Yes.
and also the title of the book, Poetic Justice. I'm going to have to read that now.
Lessons of Love, Life, and Relationships. Yes. There's
Really?
a
I
lot
didn't see that. I missed that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely
that's
got to read that
because
then,
if
yeah,
you
so.
search for Poetic Justice, there's movies and different things. But
I love Poetic Justice.
Yeah. It was going to be To All the Men I Loved Before, but I was like, no. No. And yeah, because relationships don't last, but the lessons do. And it's a good thing. It's not like a jab at anybody. It's nothing horrible. It's lessons of love, life, and relationships, and we're always learning lessons. And the thing is to learn them and then move on so you don't keep repeating them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all again for coming and watching us. We appreciate it here at WWDB TV. Check out all the other great shows that we've got here. And just remember, if you're going to do it with Stiles. Bye.
Nice work, John.